When Marnie Was There is a lot of things. Equal parts ghost story, queer romance, and family drama, Studio Ghibli's 2014 Oscar nominee is difficult to quickly summarize. Something I just learned while writing this, go figure. But at its core, it's a wonderful lesson in how to accept love from others, as well as a gentle reminder that we are all worthy of that love. Anna, our protagonist, starts the film in a situation that most people, especially kids, will find all too familiar. She's sitting all by herself, imagining that there's an invisible circle separating her from everyone else. And although this, like a lot of Anna's internal dialogue, feels almost ironic in its teenage-era depression angst, it's nonetheless extremely relatable because I was an angsty, lonely teenager. And what Anna fails to see, what I failed to see, is that her isolation isn't some inherent fact of life, but a product of her own lack of self-esteem. She believes she's not good enough to be friends with anyone, so she doesn't even try, instead retreating into the safety of a quiet, unobtrusive personality and a vacant smile. Sometimes, when it feels like you can't play the game, it's easier to just sit out. Anna's insecurity is deeply rooted in her identity as a foster child. The death of her parents taught Anna that the people in her life can leave at any time, and her sense of self-worth was further damaged by the discovery that her foster mom gets paid to take care of her. Unfair as it is, Anna believes her foster mom doesn't really love her, and sees herself mostly as a burden. So, she decides to cause the least amount of trouble possible, lest the people around her decide to get rid of her. The result is a thoroughly depressed, detached girl who just drifts through life without trying to meaningfully connect with others. She doesn't think she's worthy of love or friendship, and even pushes away those who offer it freely. But this mindset slowly starts to change when she meets Marnie, a seemingly carefree girl whose immediate and unapologetic affection catches Anna completely off guard. The two strike up an adorable friendship that eventually breaks down Anna's carefully constructed walls. It also helps that Anna thinks Marnie is pretty. My gaydar may not be great, but I mean it's not broken. Marnie completely reshapes Anna's worldview and sense of self by showing her how lucky she really is, as well as the importance of always living life with your heart on your sleeve. At the beginning of the movie, Anna has a hard time trusting her new family's affection and still carries a lot of resentment towards her birth parents for leaving. But upon seeing how Marnie's parents regularly abandon her for months at a time, as well as the awful trio of nannies they leave her with, Anna slowly learns to trust the love that is given to her. She finally accepts that her parents, both the ones who gave birth to her and the ones who took her in, love her dearly, which raises her self-esteem. But maybe even more importantly, Marnie also teaches Anna that no matter how tough things get, you can't close yourself off from the world. For too long, Anna's insecurities caused her to avoid making connections with others, afraid that she's not worthy of affection or even happiness. But Marnie, who has more excuses to pity herself and spend her days sulking than anyone, is instead endlessly optimistic and friendly. She dances in the moonlight, relishes in her freedom, and openly declares her love for Anna. She's a living, albeit fictional, testament to the fact that even in our darkest hour, friendship, love, and happiness are never quite impossible. Thanks to Marnie's influence, Anna begins to take a more active role in her life, readily befriending the same people she used to avoid. As a result, her own invisible circle starts to grow, and the world around her opens up. Unfortunately, Marnie and Anna can't stay together. Their time is tragically limited by the fact that Anna has to return home and Marnie is a ghost trapped within her family's mansion. Did I not mention that? I probably should have mentioned that. This issue is brought to a head when Marnie unwillingly disappears during one of their adventures, triggering Anna's abandonment issues. At first, Anna resents Marnie for leaving, but after a heartfelt plea from Marnie, she comes to accept that even though their time together was cut short, it doesn't mean their love for each other was somehow fake. Sometimes people, like Anna's parents or Marnie, have to leave. That's just the reality of life. But that's no reason to resent them, or even worse, close yourself off from finding love with new people. You have to keep participating, because no matter what happens, everyone is worthy of love, and love is the best thing humanity has going for it. If you can't tell, When Marnie Was There is a very personal film for me, which might be an odd pick, but the last movie I said that about was Porco Rosso, so I think I'm trending in a vaguely normal direction. I've always had a very hard time accepting that I'm not a burden on others, so often I just end up avoiding my close friends for long stretches of time. No joke, I've had people chant my name, and then I've wondered a few minutes later if they secretly dislike me. My point is, it's very easy to feel like Anna, like you're not worthy of existing, especially if you've been burned in the past. But Marnie teaches us that there's a whole world of people waiting to love us if we can just muster up the courage to go out and meet them. Anyway, that's my dissertation on why When Marnie Was There is the ultimate extrovert adopts an introvert fantasy, mixed with an adorable queer love story and a ghost mystery. There's a lot more I love about this movie that I didn't cover, but most of my descriptions can be summarized by the word gentle. The score, the backgrounds, the overly kind and charming side characters, it's all wonderfully dreamlike. I recently saw it on the big screen as part of Studio Ghibli Fest, and my brother asked me why I wasn't seeing one of the more action-packed movies like Princess Mononoke. And it's because of that. When Marnie Was There is a wonderful dream that I want to fall into.